All right, it's Christopher Foss once again, and this is a request this time from Max. The name of this video is "Whatever Happened to Laterian Milton?" I don't know what happened to him, so let's check it out.
As a young kid, we do some pretty stupid stuff that could potentially leave us in a lot of danger.
Yeah, for sure.
Activities such as riding a bicycle without a helmet.
Kids.
Perhaps inserting objects into an electrical socket,
fucking dumbass,
or even stealing your grandmother's Dodge Durango and going on a joyride to Walmart. So you can't really relate too much to that last one there. Well, that's exactly what 7-year-old Laterian Milton did back in 2008. On April 27, 2008,
what did he do?
7-year-old Laterian Milton stole his grandmother's van. His motive for this was
how does he know how to drive?
He was mad at his mom for refusing to let his friend come in the house and watch cartoons with him. So to get back at her, Laterian and his 7-year-old friend took his grandma's car keys and hopped in the car for a joyride, driving several miles to the city of Palm Beach, Florida. As the ride began, a motorist noticed the van and called police, notifying them of a driver who looked far too short to see over the steering wheel and suspected it to be a child driving the car. Meanwhile, Laterian had run over 2 mailboxes, hit 2 parked cars in a Costco parking lot, and struck 2 moving cars near a Walmart.
Jesus
the
Christ.
joyride would finally end at the intersection of Consumer Lane and Investment Drive when Laterian hit the roadside curb and the impact would snap one of the vehicle's axles and wheels. The boys, however, were not injured. Laterian was eventually arrested by police, but was not taken into custody. Rather, he was released back to the custody of
he's a minor, so.
And the following day, West Palm Beach, Florida, would release this interview that would make Laterian Milton essentially a viral internet success overnight, or a meme, should I say. And this is the interview that got him famous.
Laterian Milton is not your typical 7-year-old. Few his age have ever driven an SUV up and
put him on
some
type of medication or something.
It all started at his mother's townhouse. Laterian says he took the car keys and hopped into his grandmother's Dodge Durango.
I took my grandma's car because I got mad at my mom, and then I suddenly had my friend come in, and he smoked with cigarettes. I yanked the.
You smoked too?
I yanked the thing, dude, because it's fun. It's fun to do bad things. Drive into a car.
But did you know that you could perhaps kill somebody?
Yes, but I wanted to do hood stuff with my friend.
Sometimes you really just want to take your grandma's car and go smoke with cigarettes. So for several weeks, this
why are you saying it like that? Cigarettes
sort of became front and center on the internet. People were really intrigued at this kid, and I think with his age being only 7 years old, a lot of viewers were sort of asking this question, like, if Laterian is out here stealing cars at age 7, I mean, what is he going to be doing as an adult? This guy's going to turn into some sort of career criminal. And in addition to this, I remember a lot of comments at the time sort of casting him out as some sort of lost youth, and some distasteful comments sort of making prejudice upon his race and upbringing and his family's financial status. It was clear, at least to me, that there was something going on with Laterian's behavioral side, like something wasn't right with this kid. And it wouldn't be long for Laterian to end up in the news again in May of 2008, and this time it was for beating up on his grandma in Walmart.
Oh, shit.
With his grandmother at Walmart, Laterian asked his grandmother to buy him some chicken wings. When she refused, he threw a tantrum and started hitting her. Later that afternoon, he would be picked up by police and taken to the hospital for a 72-hour psychiatric hold. It was in this interview that his grandmother exposed the fact that Laterian's mother and father had some sort of physically abusive relationship in the past, and she was concerned that this taught Laterian that it was okay to hit people.
There are new problems for the 7-year-old who stole his grandmother's SUV and went on a dangerous joyride. His latest incident took place in a popular discount store and has landed him in a West Palm Beach hospital. Ted White joins us live with this story. Ted?
Laterian Milton exposed. We've seen him as a playful and happy 7-year-old. At other times, he's apologetic.
I'm sorry what I did to my grandma's truck, and I'm sorry what I did to all you people in the hospital. And I love you. And I hope you be impressed.
But then there's his wild
side. Hope you being what? What'd he say?
But on Monday, Laterian took his bad boy image to a new level inside this Lake Park Walmart. The problem began when Laterian asked his grandmother to buy him some chicken wings. She said no. He got mad, walked over and ordered them anyway. When his grandmother confronted him about it, Laterian snapped.
They started hitting me. They started hitting me in front of the whole Walmart, and everyone in there was upset.
That's a fucked
but
up.
I know what causes this behavior because all he's ever seen was his parents do physical, abusive, and verbal things.
It's unknown.
Oh,
if
that's your
Letarian was
answer. He
diagnosed
grew
with any
up with a
behavioral
toxic
mental
relationship.
disability at the time of his hospital stay.
Whatever you're about to...
But certainly the problems were piling up at home. So Laterian would continue to appear in the news again and again, and this time 3 months later, it was this interview sort of catching up with Laterian and his grandmother, and it was in this interview that they exposed the spicy nugget that Judge Judy had planned on having Laterian and his grandmother come on the show.
Whoa, he was on Judge Judy too?
Encouraged by show producers, Laterian Milton's grandmother says she plans to sue her daughter, blaming Latarian's mother for allowing him to steal her SUV, then drive off.
Cause she told me to get out of the house and leave, so I picked up the keys enough.
Bakita Stratford says she's taking her daughter before sharp-speaking Judge Judy, hoping to teach her responsibility.
So she's heard it from everybody but Judge Judy. Maybe something Judge Judy could say. I don't know.
Well, and if you wanted me to play that clip of Laterian Milton on Judge Judy right now, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that clip doesn't exist.
Why?
And probably for the better. Vakita, Laterian's grandmother, said that the show had requested she sue Laterian's mother, her own daughter, for $5,000 to pay for the damages made to her SUV. The SUV
Damn, so that's why he wasn't on there.
Joyride. However, Judge Judy issued a statement that she canceled the taping after finding out about this shady deal. Quote, Judge Judy does not believe in fostering litigation, and if that is what happened, then canceling the case was the only option. So it may have just been a move for Judge Judy to sort of protect her reputation, but in a grand scheme of things here, I'm glad that she didn't condone the actions of Laterian by putting the family on the show. As this theme of Laterian continuously showing up as a really young child, I mean, he's only 8 years old at this point.
Wow.
He appears in the media so much that I feel it could be potentially dangerous for a kid to have so much exposure, especially highlighting bad things that he had done. Laterian inadvertently had become the poster child for a failed youth, and his behavior played into ignorant racial stereotypes. It almost seemed like the media was encouraging his behavior. When you think about the chicken wing story, for example, that had no business being on television. That was a personal family matter which should have not left the house. I mean, come on.
Why was he on television at all?
If it was just some random kid having a temper tantrum, it wouldn't make the news. But because it was Laterian, this made it into a juicy story, and it played into the bias that everyone had already developed towards him. And this behavior would be more and more enforced whenever he was invited to go on Tosh.0 and speak with Tosh. In March of 2010,
he was on Tosh.0? Holy shit.
Laterian appeared on Tosh.0, where Daniel Tosh candidly interviewed him about the infamous joyride he had when he was 7. They also perform a skit where Laterian goes around showing Tosh how to do hood rats.
Lucky little son of a gun.
In the video you said it's fun to do bad things. Is it still fun to do bad things?
Yes.
Do you think you could show me some hood rat stuff?
Yes.
Nice. Alright, so we just open it up and then we playing it?
Yeah, that's all we do.
Oh, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be fun. Oh.
You want to see Avatar 2?
It's in 4D, only $5.
Or 3 for 20?
I'm just gonna lose it.
He's a cute little guy, but
I don't know.
what he is just not right.
And look, I don't want to be the fucking stick in the mud here, like criticizing Tosh for having Laterian on the show. I just have a problem with the encouragement of his bad behavior. I mean, at this point, he was basically famous for a crime. I mean, in a kid's view, you do something bad and it gives you attention, that's only going to reinforce that behavior.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's keep going. In June of 2010, a character...
Oh, yeah, I seen this. He was on that Boondocks show, yeah.
Season 3 episode called Smoking with Cigarettes.
I actually remember seeing this episode as a kid and kind of being creeped out by it.
2008, and this character was named Milton Tayshawn. The plot line of this episode revolves around the Milton causing mayhem.
It was a really good representation of the kid, though.
Riley is often depicted as being very impressionable in the series and doesn't always pick the greatest of role models to mold himself after much of the time. And much of the time he winds up getting into trouble because of this. But Riley, unlike LeMilton, has a conscience and knows between right and wrong, where LeMilton is depicted as being uncaring.
Yeah, he was an evil demon spawn, even in the goddamn cartoon.
And this difference between the two makes for great conflict, as Riley is faced with the proposition of sticking with LeMilton, doing bad things to increase his street reputation.
He looks just like him too, which is terrifying.
Guilt for his actions, and also the disappointment and punishment of his granddad. The funny thing is, at the end of this episode, like Milton Tayshaun falls off of a building and just ends up dying and like vanishing.
He doesn't die.
Overall, I really have no issues with the direction that they took.
He
in this episode.
lives.
Like the way that they handled Milton Tayshaun and the way that they use this as a commentary on laterian Milton. I don't feel like the creators of this show purposely glorified laterian at all. And if anything, they harshly criticized his actions, which, round of applause for them. I think this was a really good piece of commentary on this subject. Laterian would stay out of the public eye for the next 5 years until he would appear on the West Palm Beach News channel again in an interview where they wanted to catch up with Laterian and see how he was doing. And at this time in his life, he was graduating from middle school. This interview depicts Laterian as much more mature as he was as a kid, and it seemed like he was on the up and up, saying that he was, trying to be a professional football player, and if that didn't work out,
is that him now?
Join the Navy. Check out this interview.
It's graduation day at JFK Middle School in Riviera Beach. Latarian Milton is one of many graduates here who are looking forward to the next challenge.
I'm trying to be good when I get to school, in high school, to be able to play on the football team.
You can barely hear him.
Have some good success there. Be able to graduate and never go to college.
He loves school. He loves people. I know from just talking to him that he was sorry for what he did, but he didn't seem to know any better at the time.
Every day people live and die, and that day angels were above me to save me so I didn't die. Going wrong is bad, but doing good I could be a success and doing some stuff.
It doesn't end well. It doesn't end happy, does it, though?
If that doesn't work out, he says he plans to join the Navy and focus on engineering and technology. Ted White, WPBF 45 News.
And at this point, with this interview in mind, it seemed like Laterian had really turned his life around and was well on his way to being a fully adjusted grown man. I mean, he seemed like he had his head in the right place. Well, something would come to light in May 21st of 2017 may have you asking if that's the case at all. A news story surfaced on May 21st, 2017. A Lyft driver reported that he picked up 4 men and a woman and took them to the destination as requested by the Lyft app. The passenger who had requested the lift was Laterian Milton. After arriving to the destination, one of the passengers requested to be dropped off at a different location. The Lyft driver refused the request, as they are only permitted to go where the request sent on the app tells them to go. And it was at this point that one of the passengers pulled out a handgun and struck the driver in the back of the head.
Ooh.
The driver claimed he got out of the car and the suspect stole his wallet and jacket. After this, Laterian Milton got in the driver's seat of the car and drove off with the Lyft driver's vehicle. This is fucking peak irony right here. It was the request sent by Laterian Milton to Lyft which police used to identify him as one of the suspects, as it was linked to his Facebook page. Milton would be arrested days later and would be facing charges of carjacking with a firearm, burglary, and committing a felony while in possession of a firearm.
Jesus
and as far as
Christ.
I know from the information available to me, he would be charged as an adult and is currently being held without bond for the burglary charge. He
That
hasn't
sucks.
faced sentencing yet. He was only 16 years old at the time that this occurred.
He's 16 there? Really? Oh my God.
And the word I would like to use to describe it is just sad.
It is sad.
Some kind of social justice warrior here, but I feel like all the attention that Laterian got as a kid as sort of a reward for his behavior when he was really young probably had something to do with this sad outcome that we've come here with. It's becoming full circle. You know, he stole his grandmother's van and now he stole a Lyft driver's car. And who's to say if there was peer pressure involved here? He was only 16 years old at the time. Kids do some dumb shit as teenagers, and let's not completely write off Laterian yet, okay? He hasn't been sentenced yet. I think there's still some redeeming qualities with this kid, especially with the middle school interview. Like, he seems like he could potentially reform himself into a functioning member of society.
Yeah.
But what do you guys think about the Laterian Milton story?
Very
leave your
strange.
comments below, and definitely, tell me who you want to hear me talk about next. People have been throwing around this Sammy Classic Sonic fan idea. I think I'm
Ooh,
gonna have to
that's
hop on
good
that.
stuff.
And make sure you guys check out my affiliate Cool Shirts. They got some banging new fall wear on the website. 10% off with code WAVY. Link in the description box. And I want to give a big shout out to all my patrons. Thanks for your guys' continued support, and thanks for being super homie. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
God, that was crazy. I knew about the Boondocks episode, but I had no idea it was based on a real life person. That's insane. The part in that episode that scarred me the most was when he had that gun and he gunned down that goddamn dog, that scared the shit out of me when I was little. And that, even though it's a show I shouldn't have been watching as a kid, my grandma and my mom didn't give a fuck. People say, if you watch violent stuff like that, you'll grow up to be a psychopath. I'm like, I don't. It's kind of true, but it's not. I mean, there's worse stuff you can watch than that, though. But that was an interesting story, though. Yeah. So with that said, guys, I'm gonna go eat some dinner. Come back, make a couple more videos, make 2 or 1 more, then I might stop for the night because, once again, I'm tired as hell. So, thanks for watching, guys. Take care. See you on the next one. Peace.